One of the many changes after the Young Turk Revolution were uniforms, and even then that took years to go into effect. The Ottoman army was trying to modernize since the 1800s, with the army's appearance and organization, and there were many foreign influences. In the 1850s there was a heavy French influence with red and blue, but by the end of the 1890s, the army pretty much modeled itself after a German-Prussian influence. Frontline and moving up the ranks, boys. The basic army uniform was a khaki color, to replace the old bluish one, although officers could still wear the blue, and even some men wore blue as late as 1914, the Battle of Sadakamish. The tarbush was a tall fez with a dark blue tassel, and it was also replaced by the kabalak. Although fezzes were still worn throughout the war, it was mostly off-duty. The Turkish handbook reads as follows. The cap is a khaki kalpak, a dome the same color as the collars. Officers have gold ornamental bands on the crown. The foot soldier was then again given a new soft cap, the bashlik, a strip of khaki cloth spirally around the head to form a soft helmet, which could be mistaken for a British tropical pit helmet, but it was more pointed and falls in front and behind to protect the neck and the eyes. Some people even say the kabalat was designed by Enver Pasha. Arabian soldiers usually wore the traditional kayef headdress. Late into the war, the Ottoman Navy brought in a new cap, which was almost European but without the visor, so the Muslims could pray without taking it off. Very late into the war, though, like the Russians, only short troops and a small percentage of troops actually got it, they were still helmets, reserved mostly for short troops and the Yildirim army group, of course. Most of the officers, generals, and even the infantryman's clothes were made and supplied by Germany, though most came from Turkey. It was standard at best in the early years, but by 1918, the men were wearing rags. Even the boots were not safe. The officers late war did not even have anything approaching good boots. So even as early as 1915, the men wore mismatched clothes donated by towns and cities close by the battlefield. The collars had on the rank from officers to enlisted men, and they were also integrated into the kabalak. Green for infantry, grass green for machine gun team, light grey for cavalry, dark blue for artillery, light bluish for engineers, sky blue for railway troops, and scarlet for the military police. In 1915, the Ottoman Air Service was now a separate branch from the Ottoman Engineers, and their colour changed to red. Rank was also indicated on the shoulder boards, the collars, and even the sleeves. Auxiliaries were recruited from among the Kurds. They were to get their own uniforms, but they still wore their traditional uniforms, probably because the Ottoman Empire did not have money. Germany provided everything else from rifles to pistols. Officers had the sabers, which they did not carry into battle. Most officers brought their pistols of European or American, if they were lucky, in origin and design. Some Ottoman traditions never die. The fighting knife in the boot is a tradition as old as the Ottoman Empire itself. Also, it wasn't just the years of war, but the fronts of war as well. The basic warm weather troops were great in 1914, but those of the Caucasus and Sadakamish did not have any winter clothes at all. Their uniforms were falling apart as the war went on, and the sick man of Europe was trying his best, but it was not enough. All he could do was bide for time. They had to scavenge and pick up as victories came. They took entrenching tools and maps from the British that, get this, were better than theirs, because the Ottomans were using a tourist version of their battlefield, and they even had to take rifles from the Arabs. Just like the Russians, they fought in the swamplands of Iraq, the deserts of the Middle East they given, the Anatolian plains in the Balkans, the Galician heartland with their enlist of soldiers, the winter of the Caucasus, and the rocks of Gallipoli. The men could only wear what they had. Right guys, thank you for enjoying that one. A bit shorter than the one I had previously, but thanks for enjoying, thanks for watching. I'm a bit tired, but I'm gonna try and do one more quick. Tomorrow's the Battle of Kut Alamar, and that's the Ottoman season. So early in the morning, the Ottoman season is done. So good luck with that. Also, I might start a Q&A. Feeling bored, feeling generous. So answer whatever you want to answer in the comments below, and I'll see you later. Enjoy, learn something, boys and girls. Alright, let me do that at the episode really quick. Alright, before I forget, I just want to shout out CO 1999, I believe, CO 99. He does some reenactment stuff or buys uniforms. So when I did this uniform episode. I asked him if he had Ottoman World War One gear, but he said he did not. So, if you still want to see Turkey and Turkish uniforms from the 1950s and NATO era, you can go and check him out. Link in the description, and probably one of those, what do you call it, with the eye and it pops out and pops back in. But just remember that. Super tired. Coot tomorrow, I promise. I had to go and run and get some food and come back, but hope you learned something. Oh boy, you can tell that I'm tired. Anyway, later guys.